this isn't a full grocery haul. You should do those towards the front of the month. Today, it was just a few additives to add to some of the stuff I already have, and some stuff that I'm going to be able to make from the stuff that I got. So before we get started, just want to make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe. The more people who follow me, the more people get knowledge about eating healthier. And of course, over the span, the more healthier people are, the more people who choose to eat healthier, the healthier our society is. Okay guys, so this is some of the food that I eat that I got on this grocery haul. So as you know, I kind of got it set up right here in front of my pressure cooker, my rice cooker, and my air fryer, which are three great investments you should make if you're wanting to eat healthier. Pretty much between those three things, I can make most of the things that I want to eat. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each item. So first off, in the mornings, I need my coffee. If not, I'm a cranky ass person. So I like the zero sugar coffee mate. It's not necessarily super healthy, but it's healthier than if I got regular creamer for my coffee. So it's just about making smarter choices. The next thing I got is some free range, low sodium chicken broth. Now, the thing about sodium makes you retain water weight. So the more sodium you have in your diet, the more water you will retain. So that's when you'll start to notice you have a lot of fluid around whenever you have like clothing on. Like for example, if you ever seen your feet, you wore socks all day, you take them off, and you got those little like the little indentions in your legs or whatever. That is from lack of enough water or due to too much sodium. So properly hydrating will help to flush out that sodium. But of course, if you eat way too much sodium, you're going to end up bloating. And again, a lot of fast food, a lot of frozen food, it has a lot of sodium and preservatives added to it. So if you eat those things, you're more likely to retain water weight, which a lot of people don't know when losing weight. A lot of the weight that they are carrying around is water weight, and it can be lost relatively easy. If someone goes from not working out at all, not dieting at all, and then they suddenly start, that's generally what they lose when they lose like a big amount of pounds the first few days. It's typically the water weight because you went from doing absolutely nothing to restricting how you're eating and changing your body, adjusting to that. All right, so the next thing is a little thing that someone taught me years ago as a post-workout meal, and I found something that was a little bit better. So tuna, you want to get it in water, not in oils. Oils has a lot of extra calories and a lot of fat that you don't need. On top of that, the oils probably aren't the best for you anyways for your cholesterol. So what my friend taught me years ago is you take 1 or 2 cans of tuna, depending on how much protein you want, and you take a box of macaroni. This is a high protein macaroni, and you make the macaroni like normal, and then when you're done, you stir in your chicken, or not your chicken, I'm sorry, your tuna. It is chicken of the sea though, right? But anywho, go ahead and mix that in, and you've got a basic meal. So what I'm adding to that, in the recipe, it should say something about needing milk. So let's find let's see. Yeah, right here. It says add 2%, 1 tablespoon of butter and cheese powder. So the cheese powder comes with it. The tablespoon of butter, like I said, you can do the tablespoon of butter. I usually use I can't believe it's not butter spray. So you can do enough squeezes of that and it won't be extra calories. And then 1/4 cup of 2% milk. You'll notice my milk over here, I've got 2 different colors. I got my skim milk, which is 0% fat, and this is the 2%. So this is what I will use for cooking. This is what I'll use for my protein shakes. Now if we look at the panel here, you're going to see again how healthy these are. So you'll notice that, actually move these out of the way as well. So you'll notice something right away. There's only 40 more calories in this one right here versus this one. But they're both at 13 grams of protein, both at 6 grams of carbs, no fibers, and all sugar. That's because the sugar from milk is called lactose. Usually anything ends with an ose is a sugar. So fructose, lactose, glucose, you name it, sucralose, which is pretty much table sugar. So you'll notice that you can't get away from those carbs when you get milk, but the benefit is 13 grams of protein over 0 grams of fat or 4.5 grams of fat. Now here's the thing, this is a rule of thumb I've used for years that's helped me in weight loss. If you're going to drink something that has carbs in it, it needs to be at least half of the total protein. So if we look at this right here, for example, we got 6 grams of protein, 6 grams of carbs and 13 grams of protein, right? 13 divided in 2 is 7.5. So this counts underneath my goals, so it's okay to do. Now, if you get regular skim milk from the store, it's going to be about 8 grams of protein, 12 grams of sugar. So again, this is going to be a little bit better, being ultra filtered and extra. It says 50% less sugar, 50% more protein. So like I said, 8 grams is usually what's in the milk. So this one, it has a little bit more fat, but again, you don't want to use skim milk in your meals unless you don't care what they taste like. This was going to taste a little bit better with a little bit of fat in it, but you're talking about using 1 cup, and it's only 4.5 grams of fat. End of the day, 60 grams of fat is what the average person should be shooting for. So this is just one meal with these things here. So you would be shooting pretty low in your calorie range. So again, both are options, but like I said, I prefer this for my protein shakes. So now, if we were to take 1 can of the tuna, 1 box of the protein macaroni, and the Fairlife, we're going to go ahead and go by the actual ingredient list, well, not ingredient list, your actual preps instructions on here. You're only doing 1/4 of 2% milk. So if we're doing 1/4 of a cup, we're going to take those down. You're going to be at approximately, say, divided by 4, it would be 3.25 grams of protein, which isn't a whole lot. And you're going to have you're going to have a little bit above 1%, because if it's 1/4, it's going to be about 1.25 grams of fat. And then your carbs, you're looking at probably about a gram and a half. So this won't hurt you as bad as once you start adding all those extra calories, because remember, there's 4 calories per gram of 4 calories per gram of carbs, 4 calories per gram of protein, 9 calories per gram of fat. That makes up this huge difference between these, because the only difference is the fat. Now, so that's what I got here. We look at the label on the tuna. We have 80 total calories, 1 gram of fat, no carbs, 18 grams of protein. Now, for me, I'm trying to build some muscle, so it will take 2 of these for me. So you're talking about 36 grams of protein, 1 gram or 2 grams of fat, because we're doing 2 of them. Now it comes to this box right here. We're going to make it by the total size. So it says about a half carton, so 2 servings will be what's in here. So if you look on the back, we're going to go off these over here. So you got to have 18 total grams. Well, actually, we can't go off that because they're probably counting regular 2% milk. So we'll go off the actual food here. So we're going to go by 3.5, so it's 7 grams of fat. And then we're looking at 46 and 46, 80, 92 grams. Now, there's a little trick with carbs. You see that little number down there? It says dietary fiber. Okay, well, dietary fiber is used in digestion. Therefore, you don't get to count all those carbs. Those carbs are almost like free carbs that don't count against you. So if we take that 92 and we subtract 14 from it, that takes us down to 78 grams of carbs, which is still quite a bit of carbs. But if you're eating it post-workout, it's something you could pre-make and eat real quick. That's not going to be as bad for you. And then we would have 28 grams of protein here as well. So actually, with that being said, I might be fine just doing 1 can of tuna, because 18 and 28 is still going to get me around my 45 grams of protein goal. And then, like I said, I'll have about 70 grams of carbs, which is going to be enough for post-workout, because you're using all that energy while you're working out. Now, this isn't ideal for a low-calorie meal. This is an ideal, quick post-workout meal that you can have pre-made ahead of time and just nuke it in the microwave. Now, the last little thing over here that I got that I would add in that recipe to add it and make it a little bit more mine is these jalapenos, diced jalapenos. So I love my stuff spicy. So we're looking at this here. We got pretty much nothing but less than a gram of carbs. So maybe if I eat 2 tablespoons of this and mix it into my macaroni mix with the tuna, it'll add a little bit more flavor, and we're just barely adding any carbs at all. Which, like I said, post-workout, it's fine because we want to have carbs. And then the last thing I'm going to show you today, just to kind of give you a little idea about eating a little bit better. is the Red's Hot Wing Sauce, Hot Buffalo. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn the label over. The only thing that's super bad about this is that it does have quite a bit of sodium. So we're putting a lot of sodium in there, but typically any kind of hot sauce is gonna have sodium, but it doesn't have any other calories. So with that being said, if you're gonna do meal prep with the hot sauce that make like a buffalo chicken, shredded chicken, again, you're not gonna be taking all that sodium in at one time. You're gonna be taking it in per portion, but it's still gonna be kind of high, because if there's 24 servings here at 400 milligrams of sodium, I would say you're probably looking at about 1,000 grams for every 6 ounces of chicken that you take out of a pack of chicken that you're going to shred. So again, it's not the super healthiest, but again, this is optional. If you're trying to be healthier, you just make the shredded chicken and maybe put some other kind of natural seasoning on it, like you can do paprika, or if you want red chili, rotisserie chicken seasoning. Like I said, I have all kinds of different seasonings over here that I keep. Most of them are sugar-free. You know, it's not just for cooking. I've also got them for my popcorn when I do my low-fat popcorn. And I've got all kinds of stuff from my lift boxes that are unique flavorings that only come through them. There's the rotisserie chicken I was talking about. And of course, Mrs. Dash, sodium-free, salt-free. That's actually one of my favorite things when I'm meal prepping. Basic when I'm introductory video, kind of showing you some of the things that I buy, that I utilize, I cook with, some cheat meals that I make. Typically what I try to do is I try to post on my social media the recipes that I have, so people are already kind of getting that information from my other social media. But what I can do when I upload this, or if I upload something that I make, I will add the macros into it per serving. That way people will be able to go home, replicate this, and eat healthier. I've got some things that I've adapted from other people and made my own, and then I have some things I've come up with myself. As I continue to work towards my goal of doing a classic physique competition in 2026, I really want to be able to be transparent. But again, this starts small. It's a small movement. I just moved to Denver, Colorado, pretty much starting my life over. And this is something that I was going to push for a while. And I kind of took a break off. But I was like, you know what? You know, I've got a master's kinesiology, bachelor's exercise science. I've been a personal trainer for over a decade. I've done multiple physique competitions. I've actually placed every single competition that I've done. Typically not first, so I'm still, you know, and of course, a lot of people don't understand when it comes to competitions. It's about your posing as well, and that's kind of one of the things that's hurt me over the years, and I'm still trying to get better at the posing, because that's really what helps you. But anyways, to get back on track, if you could, please like, subscribe, make sure you add it to your favorites, or click the icon, the little bell notification to get updates whenever I post them on. I'm going to try to get to where I post these a little bit more often. Again, this is you know, I just moved to Colorado about a month ago, and I'm trying to go ahead and start everything up slowly. And then the other thing is, you're going to be able to see my own transformation over the next year or two as I continue to do these videos. So anyways, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. And again, take care. Remember to live healthy and make the best out of every day.